And I'm curious, how many of you are at your first political rally ever tonight? Raise your hands. Look at all those hands go up. That is what I'm talking about. That's what this campaign is all about. Man, look, I love to think that you're all just here just because of me. Because I am standing on a stage where rock stars usually perform, which is a little bit weird. But I'm not a rock star, and I know this is not just about me. This is about an overwhelming demand for change right now. Because I don't know if you've been watching the news, but if you have, yeah. We've been seeing some truly horrific stuff over the last several weeks. I watched ICE agents rappelling out of helicopters in Chicago into neighborhoods, breaking down doors, ransacking homes, zip-tying kids as if they're prisoners of war. We've got mass agents on the streets rounding up our neighbors with no explanation, no warrants. They're separating parents from their children. They're beating parents in front of their children. It's disgusting. And now Trump's sending the military into our cities, saying he's going to go after anybody who says anything anti-Christian or anti-American. That's right. Look, if it wasn't clear already, it is clear as daylight right now. We are living in the middle of a fascist coup. And our Democratic leaders in DC, they need to be taking this moment seriously. This is not politics as usual. It's not. We need them to be using every tool at their disposal to stop this right now, and they simply are not doing it. That's part of the problem. But look, it's not just about Trump, because there's been something deeply broken in our economy and our society for quite some time now. Because how is it that just a few decades ago, you could buy a home, raise a family, send your kids to college, go on vacation, all on a single income? And now, even 2 good salaries can't buy you that life. So I first started to realize that there might be something broken a few years after I moved to San Francisco. I came out here in 2009, about the first chance I got, about a year out of college, because I've always really loved the city. We're this incredible mix of innovation and idealism. We're this place where we build a future, but we have these values of being fair and just. We accept anybody, no matter where they come from. It's a really beautiful thing. It's really what America should be. When I first moved out here, I worked in the tech industry, and I joined this startup called Stripe as its second engineer. And because I was in the right place at the right time, and this is still really strange for me to talk about, but I ended up making a lot of money. And that was a profoundly weird and radicalizing experience. It was, because I really saw up front how wealth inequality works in our society and just how unfair it is. I saw how the rich can just keep getting richer while never lifting a finger, while everybody else is struggling to just barely hang on to what they have. Because, I worked hard at Stripe. I'm proud of the stuff I built. But I did not work harder than a teacher or a nurse or the people cleaning our offices did every single day. I just won the startup lottery. And you shouldn't need to win a lottery to afford a home, raise a family, or retire with dignity, but that is what our country has become today. We are now a country where most people will toil their entire lives, do everything right, and still never feel secure, while a lucky few will win it all. But it wasn't always this way. My parents came to this country in the 1970s, and they left everything behind in India to come here because in America, anything was possible. My dad got here with literally 20 bucks in his pocket, and it's almost a cliche to talk about the story, but that was the story of so many people who came to this country, and hundreds of millions of Americans who started off that way in this country. The country that my parents came to, it was one where every generation knew that they would be far better off than their parents. That was the American dream. And we built that dream together, starting with the New Deal all the way through the 1970s. We believed the job of government was to make everybody's life better, and it worked. wages rose, living standards soared. We built the greatest middle class in human history. We did it by building. We built schools, houses, whole new industries, the Central Valley Project that transformed California, the Bay Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, everything a growing society needed. And we did it by protecting workers and families with a strong social safety net and a strong labor movement. And we did it by expanding freedom through the women's rights movement, the gay rights movement, the civil rights movements, and all the movements of that time. Look, we believed that the economy should exist to serve people, not the other way around. But then we stopped. And this didn't just happen. Politicians in both parties decided to hand over the reins of our economy to the corporations and the billionaires. And the corporations paid them to do it. The corporations paid them to rewrite the rules in their favor. And the politicians and the corporations, they worked together to gut our labor movement, to slash taxes for the wealthy, and to slash all the programs that built the middle class. They stripped our economy for parts in order to maximize short-term profit over long-term prosperity. So I want to be really clear about this. Our economic decline did not start with Donald Trump. Our economic decline made Donald Trump possible. Because when democracy doesn't work to make people's lives better, that paves the road for a strong man to come in and say, I alone can fix it, right? That your problems are trans people or immigrants or scientists, that if only you gave them all the power, they could tear it all down and rebuild it. And people, in their desperation for change, go for it. That is how fascists win. But the thing is, the fascists never actually make anybody's lives better. All they do is dismantle democracy and entrench their own power. But we're not going to let them do that, am I right? Because all of us here today, we're not just here because we think things are broken. We're here because we believe that there has got to be a way to fix it. So let me tell you why I think you're right. After I quit the tech industry, right? Because I wanted to work on these bigger problems. After that. And at the time, the only person that was talking about this was Bernie Sanders. So I joined his presidential campaign in 2016. And then when it became clear that even if Bernie became president, he wouldn't be able to do the political revolution without a Congress to back him, a group of us, we started a group called Justice Democrats. And that was actually with Zach, and the other Justice Democrats co-founder, Alex Ross, is in the audience right now, so it's awesome. Get the group back together. But look, our goal was simple. We wanted to recruit people to run for Congress who are not career politicians. We wanted teachers, nurses, doctors, engineers, scientists, service workers, factory workers, the people who actually run our economy, people who wouldn't be sold out to corporations and lobbyists, and who shared a vision for how to build an economy that truly worked for everyone. So that experience of recruiting people for Justice Democrats, that gives me hope today. Because I met hundreds of people doing incredible work all around the country. The kinds of leaders who, if they were in Congress, they could turn everything around. AOC was just one of those people. And then I saw how an act of political courage really could lead to real change. I ended up running AOC's campaign in 2018. And which is a great time. And then when she won, I ended up going into DC with her as her chief of staff. And I was put in charge of writing and launching the Green New Deal. And the idea of the Green New Deal was really simple. climate change is not just a crisis. It's actually the greatest opportunity in our lifetime to build a new, clean, high-wage economy and reverse decades of economic devastation. And back then, no one was really talking about climate change in these terms, and all the climate plans out there were just way too small. But then AOC did something incredible. On her first day in DC, she joined activists from the Sunrise Movement. Is there anyone from Sunrise here tonight? Woo! And she did a sit-in in Nancy Pelosi's office to call for a Green New Deal. I mean, you gotta think about that, right? Like, imagine doing a sit-in in your boss's office on your first day in work, right? That's what she was doing. But that one act really changed everything. Because all of a sudden, everybody running for president in 2020, they had to respond with their own ambitious plans, and they did. Even Joe Biden. He ended up running on Build Back Better, which turned into the Inflation Reduction Act, which actually passed and created the largest investment in climate change in history. So that's what just one person in Congress working with a movement can accomplish. Now imagine a movement of leaders with that kind of political courage. Leaders who are not bought out by the corporations and the lobbyists. Those leaders are out there. I know because I've met several of them. And a bunch of them are starting to actually step up right now and run for office. Have you all seen some of these campaigns challenging the establishment all around the country? Yeah. Of course, you guys might have heard of someone named Zoran in New York. Yeah? But it's not just him. There's Kat Abu-Ghazaleh. There's Donovan McKinney over in Michigan. Graham Plattner in Maine. My good friend Abdul El Sayed in Michigan. And there's tons more like them all around the country who are starting to run for office. And here is the best part. If a movement like this takes power, everything we want to do and everything we want to accomplish is not just possible to do, it's overwhelmingly popular to do, not just in San Francisco, but across the country. People are demanding transformational change right now because small reforms have just not cut it to give people the lives that they deserve. So I want to make something extremely clear. I am not running for Congress to get back to a pre-Trump status quo. I'm running for Congress to do that transformational change, to create an economy that works for everyone, because we can fix this. We can guarantee health care to everybody like every rich nation does through Medicare-for-all. We can make public colleges and trade schools tuition-free because guess what? We had that decades ago. We can build a clean, high-wage economy and stop climate change with a Green New Deal. We can make housing affordable again by building millions of units of affordable housing and social housing and getting hedge funds and private equity and rent speculators out of our housing market. We can cut our utility bills by building public power in San Francisco and getting PG&E out of the city. We can tax the wealth of the billionaires and, yes, the centimillionaires too. We can ban the revolving door between Congress and the lobbying industry. We can ban members of Congress from trading stocks. We can end big money in politics by passing an amendment to overturn Citizens United. And we can end funding our endless wars, and if I am elected, I will vote to end all military funding to Israel, to end this genocide in Gaza. Now look, even though everything I just said is overwhelmingly popular, Nancy Pelosi doesn't support any of it. Nah. Well, okay, hold on. I gotta give her credit. She does now support a congressional stock trading ban after 38 years because of pressure from this campaign and all of you out there. But look, but really, this is really unacceptable because all the problems I'm talking about, whether it's the cost of living crisis, the homelessness crisis, the housing crisis, we have them worst here in San Francisco. We can't afford to have a representative who is fighting to keep a broken status quo intact. We need a representative who is fighting to push the bounds of what is possible. San Francisco has always been home to movements that fight to fix what the nation is getting wrong. From the longshoremen's strike in 1934 that unionized the West, to the anti-war movement of the 1960s, to the LGBTQ movements and the disability rights movements. When the country wouldn't move, San Francisco pushed. And friends, our country needs San Francisco to push again today. But look, I know it can be hard to find hope right now with everything that's going on around us. And so I just want to end by telling you the most significant source of hope that I feel right now, which is the people. Because in the absence of political leadership, people have stepped up. It's people out on the streets stopping ICE from kidnapping our neighbors. It's teachers protecting our students in the classrooms from masked agents. And millions showed up to No King's Day to protest authoritarianism. And millions more are tuning in right now to our elections and paying attention and standing up and making their voices heard. Because if there's any silver lining to this moment right now, it's that. And because of that, anything really is possible right now. We have a window of opportunity to truly build an economy that works for everybody. But it's not gonna happen on its own. It's gonna take all of us. Look, all of you came here tonight to see if maybe there's something you could be a part of. Well, look around you. You're a part of it. Because I'm not gonna be able to do this on my own. But together, together we are gonna win this thing. And when we win, it's not just gonna be a political upset. We are going to shock the establishment. We are gonna show that no politician is untouchable, that no community is powerless. We can spark a movement that starts here in San Francisco and spreads across the nation. San Francisco, we can lead America out of the darkness once again. Thank you. My God, you guys are making me blush, which I can't really do, but thank you.